Hey everybody, it has been a busy weekend, but it just dawned on me today that we are almost at the end of April and I have a lot of work ahead of me in the form of preparation. So Brian and I have been invited on an interior canoe trip into Algonquin Park, and we have not been to Algonquin interior camping for about 8 or 9 years. I'd have to go back and look to see when we last went. But one of the reasons, or one of the pros of moving closer to Algonquin when we first moved up here, was actually being able to go to Algonquin. And we, in fact, have gone less. And so anyways, my sister and brother-in-law invited us on a canoe trip. And so we are currently starting to get ready. So we have all of the gear required for a canoe trip. Just this past weekend, I didn't take any footage, but I actually weather tested our tent because it was going to rain. So I set up our tent and we slept in it for 2 nights, and I just monitored it for any kind of waterproof problems, and without a tarp, just with the fly. And that was all good. But one of the other things that I have to prepare for, or that I have to do before we go, is to prep meals and to dehydrate. And when we used to go, the longest trip we've ever been on is 13 days. It was that magical trip with my dad back in, maybe 2012 or 2013, 2011, 2012. Anyways, I dehydrated all the meals and I made all the meals for that trip. And so I have relied on this little dehydrator. It's called the Total Chef food dehydrator. I got this baby at Walmart way back when. So maybe, 15 years, not 20 years, but definitely 15 years ago. And I have dehydrated so much food. It owes me nothing. And it still actually works really well. But every time I use it, I get afraid that it's going to stop working and I'm going to have to finish dehydrating the food in the oven or something like that. So a friend of mine at school got me on to this great channel called Kevin Outdoors, I believe. I'll link it in the description box below. And so he's written a cookbook. Of course, I can't remember the name of it now, so I'll put it on the screen here. But also in his YouTube channels is so thorough. I have never seen more thorough reviews, comparing and contrasting different pieces of equipment. And I have wanted a new food dehydrator for a very long time now, especially since I've started to grow a lot of our own food. But honestly, some of the units are just, I can't justify purchasing them. I just couldn't justify it. And I've wanted to make yogurt for a while now. I still haven't done it. But one of the pros of buying an Excalibur dehydrator was that you can keep it warm enough to make yogurt. But since I learned that trick, I've also seen other people just use different kind of heat sources. So all to say, I finally purchased a new dehydrator. Thanks, Kevin. I did use his Amazon shop or whatever it is. I've never done that before, but he did such a good job with his compare and contrast for the Nesco food dehydrator versus the Excalibur food dehydrator. So I thought today I would just bring you along for the unpacking. I am actually really excited about this. So I make beef jerky an awful lot using my little dehydrator. But the cool thing about dehydrators is that you can do any kind of meat as long as it's lower fat. Vegetables, you can make fruit rolls, etc. But this dehydrator, so this one here, it just has an on-off button. So I can't pick a temperature. The temperature is what it is. And honestly, I've been dehydrating for a long time and it's worked just fine. But it was time for an upgrade. So let me show you what I got. Okay, so here it is, the Nesco. This is the drying unit itself. So this is the unit. So you can see that it has a dial with multiple different temperatures, and it tells you like fruits and vegetables, the temperature, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices, jerky, meats and fish, and the different temperatures. So that's the reason why I upgraded, is just because it is nice to be able to set a specific temperature when you're dehydrating. So yeah, I'm super stoked about this. I feel like it's been a long time coming. So the inside, so this is how it works. This is the top that does that runs the temperature in the fan. And you should really check out that video. I will definitely link it below if you're thinking about buying a dehydrator, because he does a very, very good job of weighing or explaining one versus the other. So this is what the trays look like. The other reason I bought this one is because I'm already used to loading on circular trays. Oh, I wonder, could you imagine? In a pinch, this would work. They don't actually stack. But that would have been cool. These ones are a little bit deeper, these trays. It comes with 5 trays. It comes with this solid sheet, so you can dehydrate sauces, any liquids on here, which is really great. And then it comes with these really cool little like mesh trays. And this is really great for small foods. So if you're dehydrating anything that might fall through, like I dehydrate corn or canned corn a lot. And on my old dehydrator, it would fall through the slots. But when you use a tray like this, it makes it a lot easier to dehydrate. Because, I don't know what. I was just going for the gusto. I can't just run down to the store and go and get other parts for this, or add-ons. So while I was shopping, I ended up getting two additional liquid trays. Oh, there is 2. Yes. So, sorry, it comes with 2 of these trays. So now I have 4 of these. And 2 extra of these. And so what I'm going to do is probably you can buy more of these trays. So I'll probably end up getting more of them. But honestly, when I'm dehydrating, I usually don't need more than 5 trays. So I'm going to see how it goes here to start. I just wanted to have enough of these. So if I wanted to put in another load and these had food on them and were cooling or whatever, I could just chuck in or prepare the next load. One of the reasons why I started this channel was to show people, especially women, that you really can do anything you put your mind to. And I am always challenged thinking that, or having enough self-confidence to try things for the first time. And camping, especially interior camping, is no different. It was something I never even dreamed of doing. I knew it existed. And one year, a long time ago, Brian and I went car camping in Algonquin, because we've always car camped in Algonquin from when I was a kid. And on our way home from a trip up to Cedar Lake car camping, we stopped at the visitor center and I found this book. Written by Esther Kaiser. It's called Paddling My Own Canoe, and I fell in love. I was so inspired by her. So she was the first female canoe guide in Algonquin Provincial Park, and just being able to see images. And this book was, she was paddling in the, I think it was like 1940s and 1950s. So I'll have to read it again. I'm bringing it actually on this trip. But I was really inspired by this book. And so soon after I read this book, I heard or learned about a person named Kevin Callan. And Kevin turns out actually that we work at the same place. I wouldn't say that we work together, but I've run into Kevin on one of our trips in Algonquin Park, and I see him sometimes. But before that, I learned about this book, The Happy Camper. And so this became my Bible for preparing for our very first interior canoe trip. And I literally, every word of this I read multiple times. I followed every single piece of advice, the gear to buy, what to bring, tent to buy. I bought the exact same thing. It was like, I just was a copycat because I was afraid. I had never done something like this before, and really either had Brian. I'm trying to find the page in the book of a picture. Okay, so this picture here, I copied it. So this is all of the gear that Kevin listed that you would need for a canoe trip. And we went to, it was like an outdoor show one year, and we bought every single thing exactly what Kevin had suggested. And that the rest is history. I'm really excited about it. I am a little nervous because I'm a lot older. And so I have been kind of exercising and lifting and just making sure that I'm in good physical shape for the trip. But I referenced this book for all of the food that I dehydrated from the start, and I have not veered very far from the recipes. And I am going to be in charge of pizzas, so I have to dehydrate some of our pizza sauce. I'm going to bring the jerky. I'm going to be dehydrating some vegetables that I had canned up from previous summers. So I'm going to bring that. I'm going to dehydrate quinoa and rice as well. Oh, and the quinoa and the rice is going to hopefully be for the side for the fish that we catch. But I am also going to dehydrate some of our canned chicken, our sausage I'm going to dehydrate for extra protein sources for the trips. So I've got a lot to kind of think about. I have to kind of gather everything together. And the other thing is I only have a couple of weeks to do this. It was a busy end of semester and we have a lot on the go here just with seed starting and the rabbits and getting the garden ready and other projects that we want to get done. But I'm really excited for this trip. But step one is food. So I'll bring you along for the different things that I'm going to dehydrate and how I prepare that. This is the trial run for the Nesco food dehydrator. Tonight I'm just going to start with some canned corn, canned carrots, canned green beans, and canned yellow beans. Vegetables are a good trial run. So I was reading the directions. You don't really have to read the directions to figure out what temperature because it is on the lid. But I was reading the directions anyways, and it says for fruits and vegetables, you want to be, oh jeepers, 135 degrees Fahrenheit. I can barely read that. I'm pretty much guessing. So I'm just going to open these up, get these all open, drain the liquids, and then load the trays. It's a pretty simple process. And I'm just gonna let them go all night. So typically when I dehydrate food overnight, I try and get up at least once or twice just to rotate the trays. Won't bring you along for that process, but I do do that just to make sure that the food is dehydrated evenly when it's going. So I will do that tonight. So for the little bitty pieces, we've got these nice mesh trays that go, or sheets that go on top of the tray. And actually I should show you at the very bottom, I put one of the fruit liners. They suggest that if you have things that are going to drip, just to keep the bottom clean. So I did that. So I just did the corn. And what I like to do is just sprinkle it around. Ideally, you don't want the food to touch, but when you're dealing with really small bits of stuff, that can be really difficult. So just do your best. And as it dries, you can kind of move it around on the tray to make sure. You only want to do roughly like one layer thick when you're dehydrating. You don't want food to be stacked on top of one another. They're kind of falling through. So lesson learned, and maybe I need some more of those screens because they're all going down to the next level because they're skinny. Those gaps are bigger than they look. Okay, so I've got the tray loaded, and now all I need to do is put the lid on. Oh, it's actually a lot quieter than my other dehydrator. So fruits and vegetables, it says 135, so that's up here. So you can see what that looks like. So this is where we have it set to because it says fruits and vegetables there. Okay, good morning. Let's take the lid off. So this ran all night, probably a little too long. I got up at about midnight and I rotated the trays. So now the corn is on top, but let me bring you in and show you. So now they're just all little corn nuggets, which are awesome, super light. So I'm just gonna take the trays and lay them out over here. We'll just let these cool. But look at, here's the beans. These are the yellow. That's all that's left. Tonight I'll bring you back for the meat. Actually, I'm not sure, but probably the meat. And maybe some pizza sauce because I'm also responsible for pizza. So yeah, but I give it a 10 out of 10 for first time round. Good job. It's a really nice unit. And it wasn't really expensive, which was also really great. This morning I took the vegetables out of the dehydrator, and because I haven't had it for a long while, I didn't feel comfortable letting it run over the day. So today I'm going to boil up the Italian sausage, the venison Italian sausage, to get the fat out of it. And then I'm going to dehydrate it and the rabbit. I'm going to tell my sister it's chicken meat. I'm going to get that going and let that run till the morning. So let's get our sausage cut out of the casings and then we'll get it boiling. So typically when I make sausage, I make packages that aren't in casings. And I swear I did that, but for the life of me, it's got to be buried in the freezer somewhere because I cannot find it. So this always makes me angry. Not angry, but it frustrates me when I have to do this because it takes so much effort to get them into a casing, but whatever. So I just have a pot of water boiling here. I'm just gonna add this to it, and then I'm gonna get something to try and kind of break it up because it has to be in like the ground form. You can already see the fat kind of coming to the top. I'm just gonna lay out the rabbit. I hope these pieces are small enough. I'm not sure, maybe I'll just cut some of them a little bit smaller. If I have enough room, I'm going to throw the pizza sauce in here because that I think is the only other liquid that I'm responsible for. So now normally I would say don't pour fat down the drain. But in this case, we're gonna rinse it. So I am going to just turn on some hot water and rinse this for now until the kettle boils. Here goes the boiling water. And this is just to get any more fat that's lingering in the meat out. So I'm going to be selective about putting larger chunks on this level. Okay, let's put the lid on, plug her in. So meat says 160 or 71 degrees Celsius and 8 to 12 hours according to the instruction manual. So meat is done. There's the rabbit. There's the sausage. Right, so that worked really well. That's crazy. Okay, that looks good. Tonight I'm gonna do the tonight I'm gonna do the vegetables, the peppers, onions, maybe some sauce, and then tomorrow and Sunday I'm going to do the jerky. So stay tuned. I just fried up some onions, and peppers in a little bit of olive oil. And on the top tray, I'm actually going to do pizza sauce, some of my homemade pizza sauce. So I'm going to use one of the sauce trays. I actually already have an open one of these, so I'm going to put that on. The girls have been spending a lot of outdoor time with us lately because the garden is going in. I've been doing a lot of work outside, so they are pretty tuckered. Looks like I'm only going to be able to fit about one on here, which is fine. That's literally, we're making pizzas one night, and this is enough for 2 regular pizzas, so this should be plenty. Probably could be a little hotter because of the sauce, but we're going to count this as a vegetable, so we're going to do 135. This is the pizza sauce. Fold that up. And we've got the jerky in. I'll just show you the top layer. But the whole thing, the whole dehydrator is full of venison jerky. I marinated it overnight, so at least 12 hours probably. Okay, the time has come to assemble all of the dehydrated foods. And there was a couple in here that I think I might have missed. So I just want to recap what I've got and what I need to pack. So I've got a couple of packs of beef jerky. I tried to vac seal them, but the corners are sharp and it punctured the bags. Doesn't matter. A Ziploc, I guess, would have been totally fine. So there's some venison jerky. I've got my dehydrated rabbit meat. Same thing happened with the freezer bags. I've got my dehydrated venison Italian sausage. I've got my dehydrated cowboy candy, and we're going to use this for the pizzas. I've got my dehydrated hummus. That's like a lunch snack. Here is the dehydrated rice, and I actually made this rice with bone broth, so just to add a little extra flavor. These are all the dehydrated vegetables. So there was corn, green beans, yellow beans, and carrots. You can see all of those in there. This is the dehydrated onions and red and yellow peppers. This is the dehydrated quinoa. I'm actually going to transfer the rice and the quinoa out of these big bags into smaller bags. This is the dehydrated pizza sauce. And then I actually dehydrated some rhubarb sauce. So this is just basically stewed rhubarbs with sugar. And I'm going to make one night biscuits with rhubarb sauce, so as a dessert. So hopefully that rehydrates okay. I'm pretty sure it's going to. So yeah, that is all of the dehydrated food. So it's pretty cool to think that all of the wet ingredients, the volume versus what it is here. So anyways, definitely save space and weight when you're portaging. The longest portage we have is 2,000 meters, but we have two 2,000 meter portages twice. So we're going to do about 8,000 or 9,000 meters of portaging. And if we have to double carry, which I'm hoping not to, but there's a good possibility, then it just helps with the kind of carry, lightens the load. It allows you to pack more, less things in your hands, jiggling and wiggling around. So anyways, if you have ever wanted to try interior camping or even just dehydrating food for fun, I highly recommend it. It's a different way to eat food and to be able to transport food and preserve food. It's not something that I've covered a lot here on my YouTube channel, but that I think is really important. In this case, I'm just using it for camping, but it could be for anything. Hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.